Welcome back to Biz First in Focus. Doctor, I want to know, 2011 Central Bank report, has it really catered to the masses of this country? Has it really not ignored the key factors in the economy? Has it really catered to a wide audience in this country? Central Bank report 2011. Do you think that the information that is in this particular report is credible and fulfills the requirements of academics, economists, industrialists, private sector individuals? Does it really cater to them?
Credibility issue I commented earlier. So if you
does it really
cater to the wider community? Yes, it raised certain issues. It raised certain issues like, country really facing now, especially the external equilibrium, balance of payment issues, exchange rate issues, and those issues were raised in the report. So therefore, in a certain extent, it catered to the wider community, especially to the academics and to the general public, and it even says, what about the future targets. So those things are there. I think it's as usual compared to 2010 or whatever the years. It is, I don't think it's any, any significant different.
Doctor, in one of my earlier questions I asked you, you spoke about the credibility of the central bank report and did mention that the central bank report percentage, economic growth, really did not trickle down to the people of this country. I want to know, Doctor, according to the central bank report, the inflation rate stands below 10%. It's a single-digit economic growth, inflationary rate. So people might really question the central bank, saying the inflation rate is low, the economic growth is high, Sri Lanka is moving to the right direction. That is the notion that the central bank will have. I want to know, taking into account these factors, how would you respond?
Not even the general public, even my department members, they question when we had the corridor talks. They say, okay, you and me go to the market and see the prices are gone up, but if you look at the central bank report, the inflation goes down. But there are the inflation, what central bank is talking about and what general public is talking about are quite different. So they are talking about from the policy perspective, which is core inflation. So the general public may talk about the general price level, general increase in general price level. These are two different.
Is this report an eyewash?
I don't know really, but that's the reality. That's the reality. Let's accept the reality that we need a inflation measure which can be predicted and controlled by the policies. So that perspective you can't get, when the food shortages are there, when there is a drought, inflation may, the price level may increase, but that you can't take into consideration as a policy issue. So those are natural things, short-term fluctuations, right? Maybe the government minister can come and say that you look at the prices this New Year season. So compared to the previous year, very much low. So that is also a fact. So you have to be careful when you analyze it. There are some figures where the central bank records those figures only for the policy perspective, whereas some figures you can use to measure the real economic impact.
Now, many views have been expressed, Doctor, with regard to the calculation of these figures. Many opposition quarters have been leveling allegations at the central bank, stating that the calculation of these figures were unethical. You're an academic and you've been studying this subject for a long period of time. In your opinion, how do you view the calculation of the figures in a central bank report? Is it ethical?
The method of calculations need to be changed, considering the dynamics of the economy, considering the base year period, and then a lot of issues are behind it. So I accept that we need to change our measurements. But at the same time, I want to emphasize that if you are changing year by year those indicators, how can one as academic really measure the real impact? So we don't have figures then.
Can you measure it?
Well, still okay, like, you know, we have, as economists, we have our own way to predict the data even. So we can model it. But I don't know, general public, they can't do that. So, but this is kind of academic work in a way for me, like, you know, so I'm not accepting the politicians' view on it, because we need to, yeah, we need to change. We need to change the measurements. Because
what do you suggest, doctor? You're an academic. What do you suggest?
So I think the statistical department adapted several, you know, like what they are commenting on the base year 2006-07 compared to the 2002 last year, when you come to the inflation measure. And then the politicians are commenting on the economic classification of industries. So those are needed to be changed. Come on, because you have to move, like, you know, if you go back to the industrial classification, that is the UN classification 4 we are adopting now. So those things needed to be changed. So I don't have any, you know, political speaking. I don't use any political speaking on that, because as academic I do aware that we need to change our measurements.
How has the inflation, how has the depreciation of the rupee really impacted the import and export of this country? All this and more after this commercial break with Dr. Prasanna.